This winter isn't just cold, it's downright bizarre. Forecasts for 2025 are throwing us a curveball, with brutal deep freezes targeting parts of the US and Canada that usually dodge the worst of winter. And here's the kicker. Most people aren't ready for what's coming. Let me be blunt. If you're not prepared, you could be left freezing in the dark without power, heat, or even food. That's not an exaggeration. I've spent weeks combing through FEMA guidelines, ready. Gov resources, and the latest winter predictions, and what I've uncovered is alarming. The risk of extreme cold events this year is higher than anyone's talking about, and the consequences could be deadly. In this video, I'm breaking down the 9 FEMA-approved survival items every household needs before the first snowstorm hits. This isn't just the obvious stuff like blankets and flashlights. I'm talking about the overlooked essentials that could make the difference between staying safe and scrambling in a crisis. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Are you already seeing shortages or price spikes on winter supplies in your area? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. Let's get into it because time is running out. 1. Emergency thermal blankets. Your first line of defense against the cold. When the power goes out in the dead of winter, the cold doesn't creep in. It crashes in like an uninvited guest. Your home, which once felt like a fortress, quickly starts to feel like a walk-in freezer. Heat escapes faster than you'd think, leaking out through windows, doors, and even walls. And if you're not prepared, you'll feel it in your bones. That's why FEMA emphasizes one simple, often overlooked item: emergency thermal blankets. You've probably seen these before. Those shiny, crinkly silver sheets that look like they belong in a sci-fi movie. They're lightweight, compact, and let's be honest, they don't look like much. But here's the thing. They're engineered to reflect up to 90% of your body heat back at you. That's right, 90%. These blankets don't generate heat. They trap the warmth your body is already producing and stop it from escaping into the icy air around you. It's the same technology used by hikers, rescue teams, and even astronauts. If it's good enough for NASA, it's good enough for your living room during a blackout. Let me hit you with a real-life example. During the Texas freeze of 2021, thousands of families were left without power for days. Temperatures plummeted below zero, and many people had no backup heating. But one family, stranded in their car overnight, survived because they had a stash of thermal blankets in their glove compartment. They layered the blankets over themselves and their kids, and while it wasn't exactly cozy, it kept them alive until help arrived. That's the kind of life or death difference a $5 item can make. But not all thermal blankets are created equal. The cheap ones? They tear easily and won't hold up when you need them most. FEMA recommends investing in high-quality insulation blankets or even heavy-duty emergency sleeping bags that use the same reflective technology. These are small, lightweight, and easy to store in your car, closet, or even under your bed. Think of them as your heat insurance policy. When the furnace dies in the middle of a 20-degree night, do you really want to rely on a hoodie and a prayer? Or would you rather have something designed to keep soldiers and explorers alive in far harsher conditions? The choice is yours. 2. Backup heating source, because the grid isn't reliable. Picture this. A snowstorm knocks out the power grid, and suddenly your house goes silent. No hum from the furnace, no warm air blowing through the vents, just an eerie, bone-chilling quiet. The temperature inside starts to drop, and before you know it, your home feels like an icebox. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. That's why FEMA hammers home the importance of having a reliable backup heating source. Here's the deal. You can't rely on a single heating system. When power lines freeze, furnaces fail, or natural gas supplies get disrupted, you need a plan B. Whether it's a propane heater, a kerosene heater, or a properly ventilated wood stove, having an alternative heat source can mean the difference between survival and disaster. And let's be clear, this isn't about luxury. It's about keeping your family alive when the grid lets you down. Let me share a story that drives this point home. During the 2013 ice storm in Ontario, Canada, hundreds of thousands of homes were left without power for over a week. Some families had backup propane heaters and managed to stay warm. Others didn't, and ended up huddling in overcrowded community shelters while their pipes burst and their homes turned into frozen wastelands. The difference wasn't luck, it was preparation. But here's the catch. Backup heating can be dangerous if you don't use it correctly. Every winter, we hear tragic stories of families trying to stay warm with grills, gas stoves, or unventilated heaters, only to fall victim to carbon monoxide poisoning. That's why FEMA stresses the importance of pairing any alternative heating source with a carbon monoxide detector. Ventilation is non-negotiable. Warmth isn't worth your life. Think of a backup heater, like a fire extinguisher. You might not use it often, maybe not even for years, but when you need it, nothing else will do. A small propane heater stored safely with a couple of fuel canisters can keep you warm, calm, and safe while the storm rages outside. Don't wait until it's too late to invest in one. 3. Carbon monoxide detector, the silent killer's worst enemy. When the furnace dies and the temperature drops, people get desperate. They drag grills into their living rooms, fire up old propane heaters without checking ventilation, or run generators in their garages with the door cracked open, thinking it's safe. And then, without warning, a silent killer creeps in. Carbon monoxide. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it, but it can put you to sleep and never let you wake up. That's why FEMA insists that no home should face winter without a carbon monoxide detector, and it better have a battery backup. Here's a chilling reality check. During the Texas blackout of 2021, hundreds of people ended up in hospitals, not because of the cold itself, but because of carbon monoxide poisoning. Families were burning charcoal indoors, running cars in closed garages, or using faulty heaters. Many thought they were being careful. They weren't. Some didn't make it out alive. And the worst part? All of it could have been prevented with a simple, affordable device. A carbon monoxide detector is your first and only line of defense against this invisible threat. When the air turns deadly, it screams an alarm, giving you precious time to act, whether that means opening windows, shutting off a faulty heater, or getting your family out of the house. And don't forget the battery backup. When the power goes out, your plug-in detector is as useless as a dead flashlight. Here's the blunt truth. Most homes either don't have a carbon monoxide detector or have one with dead batteries. Don't be that person. A $10 piece of plastic on your wall could be the reason your family wakes up tomorrow morning. It's not just smart, it's survival. Think of it like this. You wouldn't go camping without a smoke alarm near the fire. So why would you face a dangerous winter without guarding against a gas that claims lives every single storm season? Preparation isn't optional, it's essential. A carbon monoxide detector is one of the easiest, cheapest ways to protect your family during the coldest, most dangerous nights of the year. Don't wait until it's too late. 4. Backup power, generators and portable power banks. The scariest part of a winter blackout isn't just the darkness, it's the sudden realization of how much of your life depends on electricity. No lights, no heat, no way to charge your phone and your fridge. It's just a glorified box of spoiled food within hours. That's why FEMA stresses the importance of having a backup power source. When the grid goes down, a generator or portable power bank can be the difference between surviving comfortably and scrambling in the cold. Picture this. It's mid-January in Michigan, and a snowstorm has knocked out power across your entire neighborhood. Every house is pitch black except for one. You can see the faint glow of lights through the windows and hear the steady hum of a generator outside. Inside, that family has heat, their fridge is running, their phones are charged, and they're able to stay connected to emergency updates. That generator just turned a potential disaster into a manageable inconvenience. Generators come in all shapes and sizes, gas, propane, or dual fuel options, but not everyone has the space or budget for a full-sized model. That's where portable power banks come in. And no, I'm not talking about those tiny phone chargers. I mean the new generation of solar-powered or rechargeable power stations. These compact devices are powerful enough to run small appliances, medical equipment, or even a space heater. During California's rolling blackouts, sales of these portable power stations skyrocketed because people realized they needed a quiet, gas-free backup option. FEMA highlights power as a critical survival tool because communication saves lives. You need to call for help, check weather updates, and sometimes just keep your kids calm with a little light or music. A good power bank or generator doesn't just keep your devices alive, it gives you peace of mind. When the lights go out and the cold sets in, the real question is, will you be the one sitting helplessly in the dark, or the one who planned ahead? 5. Emergency food and water, 72 hours of survival. When a winter storm hits, grocery store shelves empty faster than you'd believe. We've all seen it. Lines snaking through parking lots, people grabbing the last loaf of bread, milk gone in minutes. But here's the harsh truth. When a major storm locks you in, those shelves won't matter because you won't be able to reach them. That's why FEMA insists on having at least 72 hours worth of non-perishable food and safe drinking water on hand. It's not optional, it's survival. Think back to the blizzard that buried Buffalo, New York in late 2022. Roads were impassable, cars were stranded, and even emergency vehicles couldn't get through. Some families were stuck in their homes for days. Those who had food and water stored stayed safe. Those who didn't? Hunger and dehydration added another layer of misery to an already dangerous situation. Non-perishable food doesn't have to mean boring rations. FEMA recommends calorie-dense options like peanut butter, canned meats, protein bars, and instant oatmeal. These are easy to store, require little to no cooking, and can keep your energy up when you need it most. And don't forget a manual can opener, because when the power's out, your electric one is useless. Water is even more critical. Cold weather tricks people into thinking they don't need as much hydration, but your body still loses water, especially in dry, heated air. FEMA's guideline is 1 gallon per person per day. For a family of 4, that's 12 gallons for just 3 days. It sounds like a lot, but in a blackout, it disappears fast. And here's something most people forget. Winter can freeze your pipes. Once they burst, your tap water isn't safe anymore. That's why bottled water or sealed containers are essential. Some preppers even keep water purification tablets as a backup because melted snow isn't always clean. Imagine sitting in a freezing house, the wind howling outside, and realizing you can't even give your kids a drink of water. That's a nightmare you don't want to face. Food and water aren't just supplies, they're stability. They keep your strength up, your mood steady, and your family calm until the storm passes. 6. Winter clothing, your last line of defense. When people think about winter survival, they picture snow shovels or space heaters. But here's the blunt truth. Sometimes, the only thing standing between you and hypothermia is the clothing on your back. And hypothermia doesn't just happen to hikers lost in the woods. It can strike in your own living room if the heat goes out during a long blackout. Think about how quickly the cold takes over. The power fails at midnight. You go to bed under your regular blanket, but by 3 a.m. your body temperature is dropping. Shivering kicks in, but it's not enough. You're losing heat faster than your body can produce it. That's why FEMA emphasizes the importance of proper winter clothing and layering. This isn't about throwing on a hoodie and calling it a day. It's about smart layers. Thermal underwear, insulated jackets, wool socks, waterproof boots, hats, and gloves. These aren't just nice to have, they're life-saving. Once your core temperature drops even a few degrees, your muscles weaken, your mind slows, and frostbite becomes a real threat. Here's a story that proves the point. During the 1998 ice storm in Quebec, millions of people lost power, some for over a month. Families with proper winter gear, heavy coats, insulated sleeping bags, wool hats, managed to stay warm even without reliable heat. But others, dressed in regular indoor clothes, found themselves shivering uncontrollably within hours. Some had to abandon their homes and head to shelters. The difference? Preparation. And don't forget your extremities. Up to 30% of body heat is lost through your head and neck. Add in exposed hands and feet, and you're basically leaking warmth. A simple knit cap, lined gloves, and dry, insulated boots can make all the difference. Wool and synthetic fabrics are your best friends here. They keep insulating even when damp, unlike cotton, which holds moisture and chills you to the bone. One more thing, waterproof outer layers. Wet clothing can be as dangerous as no clothing at all. A good parka and waterproof boots aren't luxuries, they're shields. If you have to step outside to clear snow or deal with flooding, they'll keep you dry and warm. So, picture this. The storm is raging, temperatures are plummeting, and your furnace is dead. Would you rather face that night in pajamas and slippers, or in gear designed to keep Arctic workers alive? The choice is yours, and it could mean the difference between comfort and catastrophe. 7. Car Winter Survival Kit, your lifeline on the road. Winter storms don't just trap you at home, they can trap you in your car, and that's where things can go from bad to worse in a hurry. Every year, drivers across the US and Canada find themselves stranded on highways when blizzards hit. Roads disappear under snow, engines stall, and suddenly your warm, comfortable vehicle turns into a freezing metal coffin. That's why FEMA is crystal clear. Every car needs a fully stocked winter survival kit. Picture this. You're driving home from work on a January evening. The snow starts falling harder than expected, and before you know it, traffic grinds to a halt. The plows can't keep up, and you're stuck. Hours pass, your gas tank is running low, and you're forced to turn off the engine to conserve fuel. The heater stops and the cold air creeps in. Without a survival kit, you're left with nothing but hope. But with one, you've got the essentials to make it through the night: blankets, water, snacks, and light. So, what should go in this kit? Start with the basics: an ice scraper and snow brush to keep your windshield clear when the roads finally reopen. Add jumper cables because cold weather is notorious for killing car batteries. Pack thermal blankets or emergency sleeping bags to retain body heat if your engine dies. Don't forget bottled water and high-energy snacks like granola bars, nuts, or jerky to keep your energy up. A flashlight with extra batteries is non-negotiable, and a small first aid kit is a must. If you live in areas prone to heavy snow, include sand or cat litter for traction and tire chains if your roads require them. Here's a sobering reality check. In December 2022, drivers in Buffalo were trapped in their cars for over 24 hours during a massive blizzard. Some didn't survive. Others made it through because they had blankets, food, and charged phones. This isn't just a checklist, it's a lifeline. And don't think this is only for long road trips. Most people who get stranded were just running errands or driving a short distance. Winter doesn't care how close you are to home. A 10-minute drive can turn into a 10-hour nightmare when snow and ice take over. So the next time you get behind the wheel, ask yourself, if tonight turned into a freezing standoff with nature, would your car be ready to keep you alive until help arrived? 8. Insulating materials and emergency shelter, when your home fails you. Most people think of their home as their ultimate shelter, but there's the harsh truth. In a brutal winter storm, even your house can fail you. Roofs collapse under the weight of heavy snow, windows crack, and heating systems shut down. When that happens, you need a backup plan. FEMA emphasizes the importance of weatherproof shelter and insulating materials, because when your home's defenses weaken, your ability to improvise shelter can mean the difference between staying safe and succumbing to the cold. Imagine this: an ice storm knocks out power across your neighborhood. Within hours, the temperature inside your home drops below freezing. Pipes burst, and your once cozy living room feels like a walk-in freezer. What do you do? Families who prepare know how to turn a single room into a survival zone. Heavy-duty tarps or plastic sheeting can seal off windows and block drafts. Reflective insulation, those shiny foil-like rolls, can be taped to walls or ceilings to trap heat. Even hanging extra blankets over doorways can create a small heat-saving cocoon. Here's a real-life example. During the 2010 snowstorm in Virginia, some families lost power for nearly 2 weeks. Those who had plastic sheeting, duct tape, and tarps created warm zones inside their homes. They funneled everyone into one insulated room, blocked off drafts, and layered blankets on walls. It wasn't luxurious, but it worked. They managed to maintain livable temperatures while the rest of the house froze solid. Portable shelters can also be lifesavers. FEMA and emergency responders often use weatherproof tents during disasters. Setting up a small insulated tent inside your living room might sound extreme, but it can trap body heat far better than an open space. For families with kids, turning that tent into a sleep zone can make a terrifying blackout feel more like an indoor camping adventure. Don't overlook the low-tech solutions either. Duct tape, extra blankets, and even cardboard can be game changers. Cardboard laid on floors prevents cold from seeping up, while blankets tacked over windows reduce heat loss. These aren't expensive fixes, but they're incredibly effective. The bottom line? Your home isn't invincible. A winter storm can strip away comfort and safety faster than you think. But with the right insulating materials and a plan to create your own mini shelter, you can outsmart the cold and keep your family safe. 9. First aid kit with frostbite and hypothermia supplies. Medical must-haves. When people think about winter survival, they usually focus on blankets, heaters, and food. But here's the blunt truth. Medical supplies are just as critical. The cold doesn't just make you uncomfortable. It injures, cripples, and in some cases kills. Frostbite and hypothermia are two of the biggest dangers in freezing weather, and once they set in, you need to act fast. That's why FEMA stresses the importance of a well-stocked first aid kit with cold-specific supplies. Let's talk about hypothermia first. It starts quietly. Your body temperature drops below 95 degrees and the symptoms creep in: violent shivering, slurred speech, foggy thinking, and eventually an inability to move. If untreated, hypothermia can lead to organ failure and death. Frostbite is just as brutal. It targets your extremities, fingers, toes, ears, and nose, turning them numb and pale. Left untreated, frostbite can kill tissue, sometimes leading to amputation. These aren't rare wilderness scenarios. They happen in cities, neighborhoods, and even indoors during prolonged blackouts. Here's a chilling example. During the 2021 Texas blackout, dozens of people ended up in hospitals, not just for carbon monoxide poisoning, but also for frostbite. With no heat and freezing indoor temperatures, people fell asleep without proper layers. Some woke up unable to feel their hands or feet. A simple first aid kit with thermal wraps, hand warmers, and basic wound care could have made all the difference. So what should your kit include? Start with the basics: gauze, antiseptics, scissors, bandages, and over-the-counter pain relievers. Then add cold-specific items: instant hand warmers, thermal wraps, burn gel for frostbite treatment, and electrolyte packets to combat dehydration. Petroleum jelly or frostbite creams can protect exposed skin, and a thermometer can help you monitor body temperature if hypothermia is a concern. Think of your first aid kit as a fire extinguisher. You might not need it often, but when you do, it's the only thing that matters. A bandage, a heat pack, or a thermal wrap can stabilize someone long enough to get professional help. Winter injuries are sneaky and silent, but with the right supplies, you can fight back and protect your family. Preparation isn't just smart, it's survival. A well-stocked first aid kit can turn a life-threatening situation into a manageable one. Don't wait until it's too late to get yours ready. Conclusion: don't wait until it's too late. This winter isn't just cold, it's unpredictable, and the stakes are higher than ever. From record-breaking freezes to unexpected blackouts, the risks are real, and the time to prepare is now. The 9 FEMA-approved items we've covered aren't just suggestions, they're lifelines. Each one, from thermal blankets to backup power, from emergency food to frostbite supplies, is designed to keep you and your family safe when the coldest nights hit. Here's the blunt truth: winter doesn't care if you're ready or not. Storms don't wait for you to stock up, and blackouts don't give you a warning. The difference between surviving comfortably and scrambling in a crisis comes down to one thing: preparation. These items aren't luxuries, they're necessities. They're the tools that turn a life-threatening situation into something you can manage. So take action now. Check your supplies, build your kits, and make sure your home, car, and family are ready for whatever this winter throws at you. Because when the snow starts falling and the temperatures drop, the last thing you want is to be caught off guard. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay prepared, because this winter is looking very weird, and it's not waiting for anyone.